Hey guys, welcome to Tammy Book Lover. Today we're going to talk about Somewhere to Bloom, written by D.A. Young. So this book is a long-awaited book of the infamous Tommy Brewster that we met in earlier in Ella's book. So Tommy Brewster originally is one of the group, one of the members of the original when and Ella used to go by Lou back in the day when she was in her when they live in Seattle. So now they're in Kismet Cove now and everybody's there. So Ellen and Tommy had a relationship and it went south, and it went south in a bad way. And along the way in each of the books you hear the others like forgiving him and stuff like that. However, in Isaiah book he got hurt really bad, so he got burnt. I think 25% of his body or 35% of his body's got burnt, and he was burnt really bad. So he's been reclusive and alone and just like not really interacting with anybody since then. So now this is his book. This book is with Jade Davis, which is also Isaiah's little sister. This book was very, very good. So, as I said, we all knew of Tommy from before. We heard of Jade in Isaiah's book also. But now when they're coming together, it's a good. So, it is very, very good. So, I already told you the backstory on Tommy. So now Jade is Isaiah's little sister. She's always been the rebellious one. Her father didn't like her because she looks like her mom, and he didn't like her mom. And she just had a rough, growing up situation. Her living situation was not the best, and neither was Tommy. So they have that in common. Tommy and Jade had a little run-in when they back in the day in Baxter Park, and he protected her. Only person knew about the situation was Lou at the time, and nobody else really know. But at that same time, she met Lincoln and Lincoln and Raleigh, which I don't know who Raleigh was, but I think his name is it Raleigh or Raleigh? I think it wasn't Link's cousin, because I think his name was a different name, but it could be the Link cousin. Forgive me, because I read this story about a few days ago, so I'm like doing the video now. Anyway, so Link was a big part of this book also. Link we already knew from Baxter Park, which is Grant and Davina's book, so we know about them also. So they're in this book as well, and so is Lou, Grant, Zay, his wife Fallon. So they're all in this book as well, and so is Charlie and Mikey. Anyway, back to Tommy and Jade. All right, so now Jade now is back in town. She had a rough relationship with some guy back in Miami, and she's back now in Kismet Cove. She wants to be close to her brother, but she doesn't want to be too close to him because he's too overprotective and overbearing. So she commissioned Tommy to rent her one of his little cabin in the back of his house, and she has to sign all these rules and regulation and non-disclosure stuff, blah blah blah. So she was okay with it. She's like, it's my privacy. Whoever can come get me, stuff like that. So Jade is the rebellious, you can't tell me what to do type. I do my own thing. I speak my mind, whether you like it, yes or no. And I love that about her. Her personality is so strong and so diva. You're like, oh, wow. Like, really? In some aspects, she gave me a little bit of Lou when Lou was back in the day. Like Lou was like how Lou was outspoken. She fight for her friends. She stand up for stuff. That's how basically Jade was. Jade is, and she still is. She is so outspoken. She don't care who it is, what's going on, things like that. Anyway, now Jade is pregnant, and Jade is living with Tommy. Nobody told Tommy because he's just like, doesn't want to be bothered and stuff like that. Anyway, Jade snuck on his property, and which was forbidden. And she found his office and blah, 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 and ended up getting hurt. And he found out that she was pregnant. I'm like, oh, wow. So he was upset that she broke into his property. He lost his temper and stuff like that. And he basically kicked her out. She's like, okay, fine. You want to kick me out? Blah, 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 blah. She told him off. And her, as I said, she is so strong and so like, you're not going to tell me what to do. It was perfect for Tommy. She basically brought Tommy out of his shell. She challenged him in every step. She basically pushed him beyond his limit that he wanted to go to, because he just wanted to be alone and basically feel sorry for himself. But he also has he had a bigger plan for his family at the same time, because he wanted to get back at his father for his upbringing. So it was just a lot going on there. Anyway, Jade was still strong and she was still doing her thing. So she was basically still, you know what, I'm going to do me whether you like me or not. You gave me time to move out, so I'm going to move out. Anyway, Tommy basically had a change of heart. So he's basically forming like a relationship now with Jade, and they're liking it, you know, but he's kind of wishy-washy. Like 1 minute, yeah, I want you, no, I don't want you. And I'm like, Tommy, grow some balls. Like, seriously, like, man up. And that irritated me in the book. I'm like, you want her, you don't want her. You know, he was worried about what Isaiah would think, which we all know he's like overprotective anyway. But he's just going to have to get over it. And he did. You know, Mama Ginger had to put him in her place too. So, like, get over yourself. Anyway, they still grew the relationship, but then he was still like giving her like this mixed signal, and it was annoying. I'm like, seriously, Tommy? Anyway, she's like, you know what, whatever, I'm still gonna do me. So now she's in Baxter Park. Jade is if I didn't say it before, she is an artist. She's a painter. She does graffiti, she does regular art, she paints, and she is very good at it. So now she's in Baxter Park. Remember, Lincoln and Grant are revamping Baxter Park now. So she was like, oh, Baxter Park need this, Baxter Park need that, and they're like, oh, isn't it the infamous Jade? And that's when their like backstory come back again with Jade and them. Anyway, Jade basically commissioned herself to have an art studio in Baxter Park. So she's going to be a part of Baxter Park story also. And then she had suggested something for Tommy that he wasn't really like still trying to be into, but she's encouraged it, but slowly. Anyway, the chemistry between Jade and Tommy was so rich, so sweet. At the same time, it was so annoying because he didn't know what he wanted and she knew what she wanted. And he was just wishy-washy. And I understand in some aspect how he felt because he really disappointed his original team, but they forgave him except Isaiah. He still had that strong hold. When everybody else forgave him, Isaiah was like, oh no, I'm not going to forgive him, blah, blah, blah. But like, get over it now. Everybody's married, everybody's grown, trying to get a family. So things like that. Anyway, long story short, he did man up. They still, okay, they came together. They had a amazing story, and the chemistry between them was so rich and so raw. It was good, and it basically was a true love story because they had such rough background coming up that when they finally came together and meshed together, it was just like perfect. As everybody was rooting for them. The Winnie was rooting for them. Damon was rooting for them. You read the book and you find out who that is. Lou was already rooting for them because Lou felt something there too. So it's like, it was so much going on. But overall, I think D.A. Young did this book justice. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. I couldn't say it any better. Tommy is the last one of the crew. No, actually he's not. There's still Charlie and Mikey, but Tommy is the last black one of the crew, black male of the crew. So Charlie and Mikey should be next. Charlie's black and I think Mikey's Spanish. So I know that book should be coming soon. However, so is Lincoln and Savannah. So there's a lot going on there. And also we get to see a little cat fight between Davina and Savannah too. So you know that Savannah book should be very good and very interested. Overall, check it out. It's very good. It's called Somewhere to Bloom, written by D.A. Young. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.